Every year, tons of memorabilia goes through the auction. Proudly taking their place in this category, bicycles of all shapes and sizes, from all eras. There's one that does seem to stand out from the crowd. It's a 1951 Hercules Kestrel.
This would have been regarded as a ladies' sort of racing bike, really, wouldn't it? But how about that? Look at this. I just noticed that. Front brakes, bang on, front brakes. And the back brake, skid that, look, excellent. Don't take a lot of stripping down. Bit of chroming. Pop some new tyres on while you're about it. Coat of paint and she's away.
Our Hercules was promptly shipped out to York, to one of the city's many bike workshops. Recycle specialises in taking second-hand bikes, renovating them and selling them on. Casey Walt is the general manager.
When the customer brings a bike in, the first option always is to see what we can use second-hand, because ultimately we want to try and reuse every part that we can or we've got. Yeah, every bike needs a second life, so to speak, so yeah, that's what we sort of massively focus on. These are the kind of things that do get us excited here. These are the kind of things that we enjoy working on, we enjoy spending the time, putting the time into. Looking at the paintwork, it's not in the best condition. It does match with the age of the bike though. The handlebars are original and they're pitted with the rust and things. It's something that we could look at keeping because they are a big part of the bike and the character of the bike.
The Kestrel shows some signs that it might have been properly put through its paces.
Key things are things like the bottom bracket. There's a slight bit of loose here. That could be the bearings inside. Once we get it sort of stripped down, we'll be able to see exactly what the problem is. Just looking at this derailleur here, how freely the mech's moving and everything, I would assume that we will be able to get this back. You normally find on the older bikes that everything just seems to work a bit better and it's all a bit more solid.
Back with the Hercules Racer, and the deconstruction is about to start. The challenge for Recycle Casey, to preserve as many of the 60-year-old parts as possible.
Loosening quite easy. There's a lot of pitted rust on here. The bearings do feel very smooth though for the age, which is quite surprising. So we're just going to release the headset bolt now. We'll just put some grease on there now. It doesn't look the prettiest having to use brute force. However, it does work because you can see now it's started to free up at the bottom. We'd probably look at rechroming the brake calipers. The badge on the front there, we'd look to take this off and restore that as well. We always check just to make sure there's movement in the derailleur. There's nothing seized or anything. You can see there's plenty of spring. It's in pretty good condition for the age.
Last job today, dismantling the wobbly bottom bracket.
Hopefully it should just knock out, which it hasn't, which now we might have to look to plan B.
Which is hitting it with a larger hammer.
Nah. I think we're going to have to cut the bottom bracket axle.
And that means we won't be able to use either of the cranks.
It was coming together so nicely, and then the final hurdle, we've come to a stumbling block a bit.
If a solution can't be found, we'll have to take a saw to the bike's originality. Recycling Casey thought he was going to have to saw off the original cranks, thus rendering the bike less than original. But with perseverance, the retaining cotter pins finally loosened their grip.
There we go, finally. Took a bit of persuasion, but we got there in the end.
It's made us even more committed to keeping the bike as near to how it was in the 1950s as we can. That means there's a few hours of hard work ahead. For Casey, at least.
We're going to sit down now, have a look over them, and we'll look to start cleaning. And yeah, hopefully get them looking like new to get back onto the bike. Honestly, the restoration and the custom builds makes us smile, it makes us come in on the morning. It could be somebody bringing their nan's bike in or their bike in that they've had for 20, 30 years. It's been sat in the shed that they want rebuilding back to its original state. Every bike is going to be different in terms of what we're doing to it. So I'm cleaning the chainring off the crankset at the moment. It's coming up quite nice, to be fair.
Given the age of the Hercules, it is in very good condition. But some small bits, like this bolt on the brake caliper, could compromise the finished bike.
You can see it looks like the chrome's actually come off it now.
We've got no option but to pilfer a spare part from an existing machine. Luckily, Casey's not exactly short of those.
I'm thinking something like that there, look. It's on an old lady's puck, late 50s, early 60s, on something like this. Perfect.
Our man Casey has spent hours restoring parts to give this bike a very particular look.
Shiny components with an original sort of rusty kind of look with a frame. Oh, nice. Yeah, there we go. Now we're in business. Cotter pins in, crank's nice and smooth. We'll get the brake levers on.
The reconstruction and tweaking carries on for a few more hours. But by the evening, the Kestrel is back in one piece and definitely standing out from the crowd. The idea is to give it a thorough real-world test ride with the help of York's Clifton Cycle Club.
This is where we find out if things are going to go wrong. I'm anticipating there may be a potential problem with the chain and the freewheel just because of how old it is. Other than that, just the general quality of the brakes, make sure the gearing's all working. I'm so excited, I can't wait.
Casey won't be riding alone.
Woohoo!
He's been joined by club coach Andrew Slade.
You can certainly tell a difference to a more modern bike.
Andrew has a Cannondale with a carbon fibre frame.
Doesn't feel the most stable. A lot of flex in everything on the bike.
60 years ago, the Hercules was also state-of-the-art.
Well, so far so good. We haven't fallen off. Nothing's fallen off the bike. I just felt there a tiny little bit of slip in the chain. On the straight, it feels real smooth though.
The Hercules Kestrel cost us just over 80 quid. Parts, all recycled, came in at 49. And Casey's labour, we know he was generous, £175, bringing it all in at just over £300.
Lovely old bike, isn't it? It has lived the life. It's done a mile or two, hasn't it? You can tell. It's better to leave it like that, a bit of patina. It's great. Pickering to Thornton would be all right, wouldn't it? Yeah. I wouldn't want to do Land's End to John O'Groats on it, though, thanks.